So, as you know, when playing any big multiplayer game on the Nintendo Switch, you do get a lot of connection issues and a lot of server errors and just a lot of problems when playing online. Especially when you're playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you probably experience them. So the question is, should you run out and buy a Switch LAN adapter if you're going to be primarily playing on your TV? Now, I did recently pick up a LAN adapter for my Nintendo Switch. I just got the generic one. You can buy at any major retailer. This is the Hori one. This one will set you back $26. So it's not too expensive, but it's not inexpensive at either. It's one of the higher LAN adapters you can buy for the Switch. I actually heard on the internet you can actually use any USB LAN adapter you find like on Amazon or any third-party retailer out there. So if you find a different LAN adapter, you don't have to use this one. Actually, you can use other ones. And the nice thing about the Nintendo Switch is in the back of the dock there's actually a USB 3.0 USB port, so you can use a USB 3.0 LAN adapter if you find one for cheap. And apparently it is unlocked. I don't have proof of this. I can't justify what I'm saying, but I've heard from some other YouTubers and I've heard from some other online outlets that indeed it is unlocked, and you will get better speeds if you want the fastest speeds possible. The one I am looking at, the one I am holding in my hands, is not a USB 3.0 LAN adapter. It is only USB 2.0, unfortunately. This is like I said, this is the one you can buy pretty much anywhere. It's just your standard one from Hori. Also, I'm pretty sure the one from the Wii or the Wii U, if you still have a LAN adapter laying around, it will work as well. So you don't need to run out and buy a LAN adapter if you already own one from your Nintendo Wii U or your Wii. I'm pretty sure that one will still work. Like I said, any USB LAN adapter should work on the Switch with no problems. Now, one thing, when you set this thing up, you may actually, if your Nintendo Switch is already docked, you may actually have to take it out of the dock and then completely power it off. And then once you're done completely powering it off, put it back into the dock, and it should recognize your USB LAN adapter. That was my problem too. My Switch was already set up. I just connected the LAN adapter, and I was like, why am I not connected via a LAN? That's because it did not recognize it. So go ahead, take it out of the dock, power down, and then put it back into the dock, and then it should recognize your LAN adapter. The way you can tell if you're hardwired to your Switch is on the main menu of your Switch. Instead of seeing the Wi-Fi signal bars, you will see a squiggly line, a solid squiggly line. That means you are connected via LAN, and you'll be able to tell right away, just because for the most part, most people still use the Wi-Fi on the Switch, even in the dock, so you'll most likely be able to tell that you are going to be hardwired with your Switch. Now, does it actually improve performance with the Switch? Common sense says if you're hardwired with a wire, you should be getting better internet connection than through the air. And indeed, I can testify this and justify you do get better speeds. Actually, I was able to get around 50% more speeds. Funny enough is when I was actually going wireless, I was only getting 17 megabytes down, which is insanely bad for the most part. That's pretty bad. But then when I plugged in this LAN adapter to my Switch, I was actually getting around 90 megabytes down. So that's a big improvement over using Wi-Fi. So if you have the chance to actually get the LAN adapter and you're close to your home network and you can actually set it up, then yes, go ahead and get it. I ran multiple tests. If you didn't know, actually with the Switch's settings, you can actually run a network test, which is great. Whether you're on Wi-Fi or whether you're going to be on hardwired, you can do tests. So I was doing a couple of tests on this system, so I can tell you. Of course, it did vary anywhere, especially on the Wi-Fi. It varied between 17 megabytes. I think the most I was able to get was around 20 megabytes for my download speeds. The only reason I am talking about the download speeds, because that's pretty much all you're really worried about when it comes to download speeds on the Switch. And besides that, I don't remember what my upload speeds were, to be honest. That's why I'm saying download speeds matter the most, and they do matter the most, because you're not really uploading anything on the Switch to a site or anything like that. Everything you're doing, whether you're playing a game or downloading stuff from the eShop, is going to be through the download speed. Now, like I said, on my when I was hardwired, I was getting anywhere between 90 megabytes to 80 megabytes. Again, that varied as well. But you can see that was a big improvement over the Wi-Fi in the system. And I think the Switch, don't quote me on this, and I'm not sure. I think the Switch actually uses AC. I know for a factor it actually uses 2 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. If you're close to your router in the same room, I would suggest actually going to that 5 gigahertz network if you're not able to actually go ahead and get a LAN adapter and you can't get one for some reason, but you're still by your router. But if you're by your router, why would you go 5 gigs? Most likely you should just be hardwired. Now the question is, does it actually improve performance from actually playing a multiplayer game? Do you still see those annoying drops, disconnects, and things like that? The sad news is, right now, no. Unfortunately, you still get those bad disconnects. You still get those connection errors. You still get those same problems. I'm still thinking it's not my internet connection, because I pay for a pretty premium internet connection. I know what I'm paying for, and I pay for some pretty good internet connection. So I'm just thinking that it's still Nintendo servers. Nintendo needs to fix their servers. At least for me, I can't justify that everyone's having the issues even hardwired, but for me, I'm still seeing those same issues. And again, I have other equipment that uses the internet and other equipment that is hardwired, and if I'm still in these connection issues and I'm not really seeing them on other devices, then that's really, I think, on Nintendo's part. I think Nintendo needs to fix their servers. One thing I wish Nintendo would have done with the Switch, at least on the Switch's dock, I wish they would have made an internet port directly on the Switch's dock, just because it would have gave out better speeds. With this way, it's not going to be the fastest way. It's still going to be better than Wi-Fi, so anything's better than Wi-Fi, but you're not going to get optimal speeds per se, like if you're using like an Xbox One, or if you're using a PS4 or a desktop PC that has one built in, just because it does have to go through the wire and then go through this contraption before it hits the Switch itself. So you're not getting the fastest performance you could have if they would have put an internet port directly on the Switch's dock. That's one thing I wish Nintendo would have done. Also, recently I did compare my speeds to my PS4 and my desktop hardwired, and I can say for sure I am getting way better speeds with those. I'm getting about 110 down on my PS4, and on my computer I'm getting about 150 down. So I'm pretty sure it's either Nintendo's either bottlenecking it, or, especially like I said before, you're definitely going to have to go through this wire and go through this contraption before it hits the Switch. So you are losing a lot of speeds that you would have got otherwise if they would have just put an internet port on the Switch's dock. Hopefully this video will decide if you need to pick this thing up. Again, you don't need to buy this one exactly. This one's one of the higher ones. If you look on Amazon, you can get them cheap. And again, I want to make this very clear. If you weren't paying attention at the beginning of the video, you can in fact buy a USB 3.0 LAN adapter, and it will work on the Switch. Just make sure you put the LAN adapter on this USB port in the back of the dock where the HDMI and the power cable is going if you're buying a USB 3.0, because if you use the USB 3.0 LAN adapter on the 2 USBs on the side, you won't be getting optimal speeds, and it's like you're kind of like wasting money getting a USB 3.01. I really hope this helps you out. And again, don't forget, you can use any other LAN adapter. It doesn't have to be this one, and you can use one from prior Nintendo systems, whether it be the Wii or Wii U. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.